Guys, we got Heintz in the studio here today for our 10-Minute Tuesday, and he is a wealth of knowledge, as you might know. Band king, migrator king, goose killing motherfucker.
I appreciate that.
You know what I mean?
There you go.
Horseshoe up the ass.
That was big ego build.
That's right.
Yeah, dude.
I needed that today.
He's strong. He's tall. Handsome.
Coming in at 5'7" and a quarter.
No. One of the things that you are amazing at, Joe, and I think you have a really unique perspective about it, is calling. And so I've been doing calling lessons for a long time.
Sure.
And just explaining to people how to actually get better on a call and how important it is for when you go out hunting. Do you mind giving people some tips on that?
For sure. Well, like you know, dude, calling's major. Calling's one of the major things where it can take your number from 50 a year to 500 a year, right?
Oh, for sure.
And I mean, we all came from the same spot of couldn't call that well to figuring it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you were the same way.
Oh, yeah.
Now you're a great goose caller. I mean, you're a contest level goose caller, I'd call it, right?
Thanks, Joe.
So,
Right, this is Dick Pole City here.
okay.
Okay.
Well, first of all,
No, I'm just kidding. I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
you gave me a nice compliment, Cal. Just
Right.
accept the compliment for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Joe.
Yeah, cool. Cal,
Yeah,
this is probably going to lean more towards you also, by the way.
Perfect.
So, dude, I guess the only advice that I would have is don't be afraid to pick up that flute or that short reed call. And don't be afraid to figure out what sounds and tones that one reed instrument can do, right? Like you want to blow into it hard, blow into it soft. Different hand positions will make different tones. And just whenever you can, you're going to drive your mom nuts, your girlfriend nuts, your wife nuts, whatever.
Maybe yourself nuts.
And you might drive yourself nuts also.
Right.
Great point.
You guys.
And
Both nuts.
so just go in the garage for 10, 20 minutes a day and just blow a call. Try to figure out clucks and honks is what's going to kill you the most, geese. You're not going to, if you don't want to be a contest caller, don't try to sound like a contest caller. If you just want to hunt for meat, you're going for clucks and honks. And try to speed them up, and the next thing you know, you'll start rolling into double clucks. That'll also be more deadlier, right? How much do you use when you're out in the field? Because me, I'm moaning, honking, and double clucking. That's basically about it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing any comebacks like you see on stage or anything like that, right?
So I'm doing double clucks, quick spits, clucks, and moans.
Yep.
That's it. And then a variety of different cadences.
When
that
those
go
geese are
with it.
coming in, I'm literally going click, 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 click. That's about it. You know, when they're out in the distance, I try to get a little fast with them with the clucks. Click, 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 click. That's it. And if they're setting in real good, about it. Clucks and moans.
Yeah.
That's what's going to kill you the most, geese.
Yeah, I mean, even just like going through that right there, like that's super helpful for people. Is
Right.
just to like visualize the different cadences of what you're hearing,
and reading the birds is major too. You got to know what they want to hear. If you're cluck, 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 and they're not setting up, but you're just slowing it down to cluck, cluck, and they're locking up a little tighter, keep doing that. Don't change anything.
Yeah.
Because you're going to set them down.
Do you blow them all the way to the ground most of the time?
Sometimes,
or do you
and
feel
sometimes
like
I don't even blow. Sometimes I don't even blow a call.
What are you looking for?
But mostly I'm calling at them pretty good, aggressively.
What are you looking for? Like, what tells you, okay, I got to stop or keep doing this?
Their reaction. Just when you're blowing at it.
What is the reaction that you're looking for?
They're locking up, or
They're locking up.
Yeah, they're locking up, or they're slowing their wing beats. You know, sometimes when they're coming across the field, just zoom, 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 and they do that, and they're not even breaking. It's like, oh shit. So then the next group, I'll just try something different. Next thing you know, they're starting to come in. So then I'll just stick to that motto the whole time.
Yeah. Is there anything you do differently with your calling, especially like considering if, like, let's say you're in a situation where you got birds that are coming in and either it's strong wind or they see something they don't like, but they give you like 3-4 passes, but they wanted to come to you.
Yeah.
Is there anything you're changing drastically with your calling in that situation?
So that's another thing on reading them. You just, if it's like, okay, they're circling and we're blowing as hard as we can, then maybe slow it down a little bit.
Yeah.
And one guy just cluck, go, and see how they react to that. Because sometimes it's just too noisy down there. The party's too loud. So they just, they'll come in. Or, you know, sometimes that group, you just got their attention, but they're like, it's almost like they're trying to get your decoys off the ground to go with them. Like, this isn't where you want to be. We're not coming down there type, you know?
Yeah.
I've noticed that sometimes
noticed that.
too. Yeah.
I've noticed that where it's like, man, we broke them down.
Yeah.
And they circled 5
Yep.
times.
This isn't where they want to go at
Right.
all. So,
Right.
and you might pull a couple singles and doubles and stuff, right? But,
Yeah.
But I will say my deadliest call that I do are those fast clucks and that aggressively loud moan. Kala, kala. That just seems to get them going.
What are you doing with what kind of a moan is it? Is it a push moan or is it a wide open?
Wide open, basically. Yeah.
So you're full aggression.
Mm-hmm. And I'm usually running traffic 99% of the time.
Right.
So it's mostly aggression.
So you have to be aggressive.
Yeah. But if you're running, in
X field.
Yeah, next field. Yeah, you want to be a little more subtle with them.
Yeah, they want to come there anyway.
Yeah, right.
I've really found in the last 3 years that whenever I really kill geese, it's you're hard on them really, really quick, and they start to set up, and then it's you and one other guy where you just like pick a note.
Yep.
Because that cluck from here and that moan from here, you can only do so much with your hand direction, but you have 2 different sounding geese in rhythm, and it just hammers them.
If you're with good goose call, like me and Jesse, Dino, he'll moan, I'll cluck. He'll moan, I'll cluck. Or me and Trevor, he'll double cluck, I'll cluck. Cluck, 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 cluck. Then you got some other guy down on the other end. It just sounds great.
Yeah.
Like that separation calling. And I've kind of wanted to talk about this too. It's going to sound insane, and people are going to be like, that's insane, stupid, but it's not. You know when you go out in the field to go pick up a bird and a flock of geese comes and you're stuck out there?
Yeah.
And they come at you. I think they're coming at you because they've seen you moving. They're trying to figure out what you are.
Yeah.
But I also noticed that you can draw birds in a lot better with that separation calling where they're calling over there and there's another tone way down here, right? So it's almost like if you're a business running a pit style business, you could pay some guys to sit in a pit down here just to have that different tone and different
2 sides.
Right. And then when they limit out, jump in. But I guess it's kind of unrealistic, but you kind of get where I'm getting at with that, right?
Yeah. No,
so,
for sure.
When we hunt together, we usually have a guy on each end that can call really well because the calling separation sounds really good, and then a guy in the middle.
Yeah.
So you just sound like different birds in different areas of that field, right?
Yep. There was a time when I was in North Dakota on a slough where we started out the morning, and we were all together. It was like 8 of us, and it was a pretty big slough. And so we were like really spread out along this deal. It was super shallow, whatever. It was snowing, perfect conditions, and there was a lot of mallards coming to this slough. So we watched them leave, and that's when we went to the pond, and then they just started trickling back, right? And we couldn't get any of them to finish, and we were perfectly hidden. Like, there's no way. Like, they were never coming over the top of us, and so we're like, shit. And it was connected to another slough. So me and one guy went to the other slough where they were all starting to land. And there was no cover on this slough. There was a big muskrat hut here, and there was kind of like a bay of cattails. So I was on this point with the muskrat hut, and he was on this side.
Yep.
And we had 6 decoys, and I took 3 by me, and he took 3 by him.
Yep.
And, dude.
You sound like different pods of noise.
Right.
So it worked.
And it was seriously one of my favorite duck hunts I've ever been on because it was just stupid. Like, we didn't really have that good of a hide, but we just stayed still.
Yep.
And I'd bark, and he would just go,
He'd answer.
And the ducks that wanted it quiet would just dump into his spread. And the ducks that wanted it loud, without hesitation, came into my spread.
That's a perfect example of it.
Oh,
too.
it was the coolest thing. And I forgot about that until you just said that.
Right. There's times where I'd be in the pit, like, these aren't working. I'm going to go to the tree line, which is 20 yards away, and call from the tree line.
And that changes
see
things.
if it would work, and it worked. Yeah.
Wow.
It was setting them down. I was like, damn.
That's crazy.
That separation
That is
calling
crazy as hell.
does work, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I guess just practice that calling on the off season. If you're a duck hunter, practice that feed and chuckle. Practice that 3 blind mice. Map, 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 map.
Have you ever thought about like setting up with people like on opposite ends of the decoy spread?
No,
like
not really, because it'd be too hard to be like, should we take them?
Well, I think it would just be more one of those situations where if you're like, I mean, band hunting might be a good,
band
situation
totally
for that.
Could,
Or if you were just hunting like a small field, you were low, small decoy spread or something. And you're like, oh, I'll go in a layout blind here. You go 30 yards that way. We're on other ends, and you get your birds and I get my birds, but it's at different times.
You totally could do that.
Yeah, it'd probably sound good.
Yeah, it sound really good.
Yeah,
but wouldn't want to be shooting at each other either, I guess.
No,
not,
you'd
not
have to
that
be
you are.
facing
You'd be,
kind of
okay,
same
I know what you
direction
mean.
type of
I
thing.
know what you mean.
Face
yeah,
at each
yeah,
other.
Yeah.
Face
yeah,
at
You
right,
you and me, we face each other in blinds on opposite ends of the spread. Shoot right at each
right,
other.
yeah, toe to toe.
Yeah, Russian roulette. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Joe. Appreciate it, man. This
No
was
problem.
a great 10-minute Tuesday. Thanks, you guys, for listening. See you
Practice
soon.
that calling.
Practice calling.
Practice.